What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Hey. Oh, happy Sunday evening to you all. Hope everybody had a great weekend, getting ready for that work week. I got to get up in the morning. I'm going to a 3-day workshop this week. I'm on my history nerd stuff. It's a workshop on Reconstruction and the Freedmen's Bureau down at the National Museum of African American History. Anyway, we are here to talk about the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Will be season 15, episode 9, honey. Let's get into this. Now, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. There wasn't really a whole lot of moving and shaking in this episode, but we're gonna get into what was there. We're gonna talk about what we're gonna talk about. Let me say hi to the people, everybody coming in. Welcome. For all my members, we did have a members only live earlier today. So if you didn't catch it, make sure you catch the replay. Wasn't a whole lot. We just kind of chilled and kicked around we were there for over an hour and a half, child. Okay. Oh gosh. Sorry, y'all. All right. So let me say hi to the people. Hey, Lemon Kush, Layla, Amber. Amber said this episode was fire. Okay. Hey, Lock Queen, Lisa Mack, Miss Baything. Hey, Queen Diva, how are you? I'm glad to see you had a good vacation, honey. I'm actually going to be in Jamaica later on this month. Hey, Kenya, Creative Queen, Phil. Hey, Makia, Montrez. Hey. I'm not taking the metro. Yeah, no. But thank you. Thank you for the warning, but no. You just had this nail color? Yeah, it's almost time. I'll probably get it redone before I will get it redone before I go to Jamaica. So, we start this episode off. Of course, we got to get what everybody got going on. We find out. We see that Sheree is down at the acupuncture place. She's going to try to find some holistic ways to get rid of her fibroids. She said that everybody that she knows that's had fibroids, has had to do the surgery again. And so she wants to find a more holistic way of doing it. And so she's starting with acupuncture, and then she wants to do a holistic trip for therapy. Now, let me say this. A lot of women have dealt with fibroids. I know I have, and probably most of the women in this chat have dealt with it or know somebody who has. However people choose to deal with it is however people choose to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? As far as this acupuncture scene, let me say this. First of all, I do acupuncture. Well, I was doing acupuncture almost once a week for probably about 2 years. Now I go once a month because my insurance stopped covering it. So I go once a month now. I got to pay regular prices. But when I was just paying my copay, and let me say this. If you got to do all that jumping around, she ain't doing it right. Because most of the time, you don't feel the needles going in. There was 2 occasions where I was like, whoa, take that out. The other times, you really don't feel it going in. Or if you do, it's a plick. It's just a little plick. Now, I'm going to tell you where it does hurt, baby. Them ears do hurt. The ears do hurt because that's more cartilage right there. But honestly, y'all, I honestly don't feel it. So I don't know if she was doing a whole bunch of jumping around just for the purposes of creating a moment. You got your sister there, you got your daughter there, like you haven't made your surgery. It was a lot. Like, and I didn't even know Sheree had it. That Sheree had a sister child. But anyway, somebody said there is a burning sensation. Then I'm not gonna say I've never, like I said, there's been once or twice where I'm like, woo. And the one thing that my acupuncturist did say to me is a lot of times if you are feeling it a lot, you probably need to drink more water. Like she said that a lot of times it's like there have been times when I'm like, oh, I did feel it a lot more today. She said you probably need to drink some water. So it is all connected. All that stuff is connected. But anyway, child. But I will say this: if you are the type of person that already has an issue with needles, then it's probably not the thing for you to do, because it's literally needles. It's literally needles. But anyway, child, I'm just saying all that. If you're thinking about doing, acupuncture, I know it works for me for a while ago. And like I said, my insurance was covering it, so I wasn't doing nothing but paying for $20 a session when my insurance was covering it. Now I have to get reimbursed, and I got to go through all that stuff to mail it in and send it and do all that. But anyway, that's what I said. I've done dry needling therapy, and it wasn't like that either. Yeah, I just think she was doing a lot. But I understand if it's your first time going, you're not really sure. And again, if you have an aversion to needles, you probably just want to let that. You just probably don't even want to get into that. But anyway, from there we have we see that Sonia is doing a fundraiser for her Mommy Nation. She is partnering with a private school in Atlanta that is geared towards homeless families. And I would love to get more information on this school. I think that is a great idea for her to partner with these moms. Being homeless and still having to get up and go to school every day is something that I never dealt with until I went into education, because thank God I was blessed and I never had to deal with being homeless. And a lot of times when we say homeless, we don't mean they're living on the street, right? Sometimes that could be the case. They could be living in their car, but in most cases, it's generally when there's just no permanent address. You're living in a shelter. You're living in a hotel. You're living, you're living at people's houses. It doesn't. I think when we hear homeless, we literally mean somebody's on the street, and that's not the definition. When we talk about education, right? When we talk about education, the definition is you do not have a permanent address. So, that is a great idea. That's a great thing. And again, I would love to get more information on this private school that's geared towards homeless, moms, homeless moms. I think that was a great thing. She found out that her auctioneer has the Roni Ron and can't do it. And so she reached out. I thought it was something she's done before. I missed that part. I didn't get the impression she had done it before. I mean, she wasn't acting like she had done it before, but maybe I got the impression that this was something new, part of her holistic therapy that she was doing for her thyroids. So she asked Kenya to do it. She wanted Kenya to do it, be her hype man or whatever. And so they're going to get Kenya to be the auctioneer, it's an auction fundraiser. And, of course, all the ladies are coming and all that good stuff. So that's what she got going on. So then we see Kenya. She is filming a commercial for Kenya Moore Hair Care. She said, listen, I done already got these outfits that I was supposed to perform in the Circle City Classic. I'm already paid for this drum line. I done already got this choreography from Moneta. And what we're not going to do is let it go to waste, okay? I'm going to give me a good old green screen. We're probably going to have the Circle City Classic behind us. And we're gonna do this good choreography. And we're going to do this twirl. And we're going to have this good drum line. And we're going to make this damn commercial, okay? That's what Kenya said. And I ain't mad at her, okay? I ain't mad at her. Hey, everybody coming in. And Kenya, I ain't mad at Kenya. Okay, I'm not mad at Kenya. Kenya said, listen, this is what I'm going to do. Now, her little boo came down there to check on her. And, he popped in and surprised her. Let me say this. I'm going to always be happy when my friend face lights up when she see her man. You know what I'm saying? Kenya got to be so tongue-tied and frazzled when she saw that man, and it was cute. And I think he bought her some food or something. He had a little shopping bag with something in it. And she said he has a natural food restaurant or store, something like that. But it was cute. It was really, really cute. And so that was a cute little scene. Okay. Now I still ain't seen this commercial. Y'all seen the Kenya Moore Hair Care commercial? Y'all let me know where y'all seen it. Because it's probably cute. It's probably a cute little commercial. Okay. Where was Cynthia? What do you mean? Where was when, Phil? When was when? When were we supposed to be looking for Cynthia? Right, Natalie. We ain't wasting no money. We are not wasting no money, okay? So maybe we'll see it now. I was hoping to see it like after, like during the commercial break, but I mean, we didn't. So after that, we have a really, really, really great scene with Drew and her sister. Some important things to understand in this season. Oh, Phil. Okay. So we had Drew sitting down with her mom and sitting down in the trailer. It looked as if Cynthia was going to be in Kenya's scene, but it appeared edited out. It was the scene when she was down there filming that commercial. It may have been edited out. Maybe it was. I don't know. So we found out a couple of things that I thought were interesting in the scene. First of all, we found out that her sister was very much in the industry before she became Drew's manager. She wasn't just oh, my sister, she met somebody at the club and now she want to be my manager. You know what I mean? She worked for Johnny Carson. She wrote for Rock. She wrote for Amen. I forgot, they said another show that she wrote for. And so she was very much in Black Hollywood, right? And for Johnny Carson, hell, that's white Hollywood. She was very much in the industry. So she wasn't just my sister is talented and I want to be her manager. She knew some things and she knew some people, and she probably did some pretty good things for Drew's career. The other thing, and we found out that her sister is 20 years older than her. So again, she wasn't like 5 or 6 years older than her saying, girl, I'm gonna do this for you. She was experienced. Now, the other thing that I thought that was really great about this scene was how open her sister was about mental health. She was like, the first time that I had to go into the mental hospital is because I had unresolved trauma from an abusive relationship early on in my life that I didn't really tell anybody, that I did not process. And then it sounds like she had a second experience during the shutdown due to the isolation and everything. And that's something that we always talked about during the Panorama, was we really have to think about the people who don't have people, right? People who are already dealing with issues and now they're sitting at home all day long. They don't have that outlet. They don't have whatever it was that was keeping them busy and keeping their mind off of it and keeping them occupied. And now all they have is time to sit. If they live alone, sit and just stare and just be whatever and be and live in it. She said she was dealing with PTSD and anxiety from unresolved trauma. And she said that she was a part of an abusive relationship where she never told anybody, including her mom, and I loved the fact that they were so open about the conversation. And I think it is just so real. So many people, I'm not going to say Black people, I'm not going to say women, I'm not going to say old people, I'm going to say in general, so many people, we don't deal with our trauma. It happens, we suck it up, we move on. Or we go through that temporary process. And what I mean by that is we mourn the relationship. So if you're in an abusive relationship and it ends, you mourn the ending of the relationship. Your friends rally around you. Maybe you even press charges. Maybe you have to move out and your friends help you, pack up your bags. We go through that temporary mourning process. But then after a couple of weeks, everybody goes back to their own lives. You even go back to your own life. But the trauma from that situation, we're all different. It may still be there. For some of us, that temporary mourning process is good. We're good. We're rolling. We're moving on. But for other people, it's there and it's simmering and it's under the surface. And if we don't deal with it, then it's going to continue to fester, And I just appreciate that her sister was open about it and said, listen, this didn't happen in a vacuum. This happened over time. And this happened, it built up and it built up. And as a result, this happened, and so I can respect that. I'll be honest with you. I really enjoyed, I'm going to say this. I enjoyed these last two scenes with Drew and her mom and her sister probably more than I've enjoyed any scene with Drew and Ralph from the beginning of the season. From the beginning of her being on the show, not just this season, from the beginning of her being on the show, because I think with her and Ralph, they were so busy trying to hide what was really going on behind closed doors that a lot of that stuff came off not authentic. And this situation with her sister and her mom was just so real. And I appreciate that. And I thank them for being open and for them telling that story, because they didn't have to. They didn't have to include any of that. And so I appreciate that. And I appreciate Drew and her sister and her mom really just being open about it, and they don't need to give us no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, they gave it to us, and it's a conversation, and we talking about it. But I definitely was here for it. I'm definitely here for it. And I would be here for more, but I'm saying they don't have to give us more. But I definitely would be here to see how her sister continues to build up. The other thing that I felt was good in that scene was Drew saying, listen, I didn't realize how much you did until you weren't there to do it. I thought that was real. I thought that was some real ish. She said, look, I didn't realize how much you did until you weren't there to do it. I just took for granted that these things were going to be done. And that's going to come into play when we get into the conversation with Sonya and her sister. We'll get there in a minute. But I thought that was real too. That Drew said, listen, you did so much and you made it look effortless. And she said, at this point, I'm acting as my own manager, and it's so much to it, So Drew is earning her title, allowing us to see the beauty in that moment. That's real. I'll be honest, I appreciated it. And and Amber said it a few minutes ago, it doesn't always have to be a rah-rah episode for it to be, in my opinion, for it to be a good episode. I don't feel like this was a filler. See, we talked about a filler episode when we were talking about Bell Collector the other night, and I was explaining to y'all when I say a filler episode, what I mean. To me, a filler episode is when the scenes are just way too long. When we're repeating information that we already got. To me, that's when you're filling. Just because something isn't people screaming and hollering and throwing stuff doesn't make it a filler episode. It just means it's not an episode where people are screaming and hollering and throwing stuff. It's still new information. It's still good information. And it is still laying the foundation for what's to come. That's my opinion. Now, everybody don't feel the same. Some reviewers feel differently, but that's how I feel. To me, a filler episode is when I'm sitting there going, now this is the third time they done told this story. I don't need to hear it no more. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. So then we see, now we get ready to go from a really, really good moment to a really, really, I'm gonna say I think the scene fell flat. This OG reunion scene where we had Lisa Wu and Deshaun and Kim Zolciak, I feel like the scene fell flat, and I'm gonna tell you why. For a couple of reasons. First of all, Sheree made it seem like they get together periodically and this is just what they do because they have this bond and they've shared an experience and this is what they do. When it's clear that ain't what they do. Now, maybe Sheree hooks up with Lisa Wu from time to time. Maybe Sheree hooks up with Kim from time to time. I don't feel like none of them hang out with Deshaun. I'm not being funny. I don't feel like none of them hang out with Deshaun, child. But I think my Twitter is really be on YouTube. I think. Give me a second. Don't let me forget. I'll answer that. Satra, give me a second. I'll look in a minute. I think it's ReallyB_ on YouTube, but don't quote me on that because I don't remember. I really don't use my. I scroll Twitter a lot, but I don't really be posting like I should. So I feel like it fell short. I mean, I feel like it fell flat because I didn't feel like these women have continued to connect over the years. So there was really a lot. There was really nothing there to build on. Deshawn act like she didn't want to be there. She looked good, but she really, I mean, we understand why she was a one-hit wonder. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I like Deshawn, but Deshawn didn't give us nothing in that scene. I mean, nothing. Kim was clearly auditioning to get her job back. Kim was clearly, thank you, Tracy. There's my Twitter. Thank you, boo. Kim was clearly auditioning. Okay. She was clearly auditioning to get her job back. Okay. And of course, they had to address the elephants in the room. Lisa Wu, you got divorced. Deshawn, you got divorced. She said she was blindsided. Child, that was 10 years ago. We don't care. I mean, and that's no disrespect, but child, them churn, that them little baby boys, them little bad. Remember Deshaun's boys was bad. Them little badass boys. They got to be like in high school by now. Maybe even done with high school, child. I don't know if I did the math. Lisa Wu talked about her husband. Child, your husband divorced you, knocked up Keisha Knight Podium, left her hanging. Like, your husband has been in them streets. Like, it's layers to that, okay? Then Kim and her foreclosure. I mean, why would I dare let a house, $2 million house, go for $200,000? I mean, that was one blog. I mean, it wasn't people. Child, yes, it was. So I feel like they had to address the elephants in the room. But how about they didn't address the biggest elephant in the room? What's the biggest elephant in the room, y'all? Put it in the chat. I'm going to wait and see if y'all know what I'm talking about. What's the biggest elephant in the room? Where the fuck is Nene? If you going to have an OG meetup and Nene ain't there, then I don't want it. Now, listen. We can say what we want to say. And I understand that, Phil. I get it. They can't. I get it. Nene couldn't be there, and they probably can't talk about Nene. I get that. I understand the legality of it. But what I'm saying is, don't give me a dream that you can't fulfill. That's all I'm saying. Don't give me this OG meetup, and it can't be an OG meetup. And here come Jonathan. The minute Nene name show up, Jonathan fall out the sky, child. Now, Natalie, they could have done that. Listen, if they had done more flashback scenes, they gave us 1 or 2 flashbacks, but I mean, more flashback scenes would have been cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're right. There were more things happened than just Nene. You could have given us more. Like, you gave us this flashback of Lisa and Kim. Right. And again, I think it was a cute idea that Sheree probably came up with. I'd be honest with you. I bet you I'd be willing. What's up, J-Dub? I'd be willing to bet about $20. That's about as much as I'm willing to lose. I'd be willing to bet about $20 because that's all I got. It's $20 that this little this little dinner happened either before or after they filmed that little reunion for Carlos King. Remember Carlos King little talk show he had last year, and he had all of them, and of course everybody was there except for Nene. I don't remember what they had on. I would be. I mean, they may or may not have on the same outfit, but I would be willing to bet money that this little meetup happened around that same time. May not have happened the same day, but around that same time, because I feel like that's the only time you could clearly tell they hadn't been around each other. I mean, it was clear. So I feel like that scene was a big womp because I just didn't get nothing out of it. I didn't enjoy seeing all them together. It wasn't nostalgic. It didn't make me miss none of them. And I like Deshawn, and I think Deshawn has a story, but I don't think Deshawn is interested. I feel like she was only there, like, I'm just here so I won't get fined. Because listen, if we're going to call a thing, I'm wondering if they got a little stipend to be there. And the reason why I say that is, remember last year, Kim was supposed to be at Sheree's shrimp that remember Kim was supposed to come to the She by Sheree fashion show, and she said she wasn't coming. She wasn't coming for free. I think it might have been canceled, correct? I think that's why he putting all his energy into this YouTube child. They didn't know she had They didn't know she had a grandchild. Lisa and Kim were talking like they hadn't seen each other since the reunion of season 2. I think was Lisa Wu on season 2? Did she do 2 seasons? I know Deshawn only did 1, but did Lisa Wu do 2 seasons? But either way, they act like they hadn't seen each other or talked since the reunion from whatever that season was Lisa did. It just fell flat for me. And honestly, I wasn't even hyped up about it. Like, I don't feel like anybody was like, oh, we can't wait for the OG scene. Like, we knew they did it. Okay, she did 3 seasons. Okay, well, they act like they hadn't seen each other since the reunion of season 3. It just didn't do nothing for me. I feel like it was just a waste. But like I said, it was clear that Kim was auditioning, and it was clear that Kim was auditioning, and Deshawn was not. Deshawn was like, I'm just here. Like, I don't even know why Deshawn agreed. Maybe she just wanted to show off that her new figure, because she did look good now. I don't care. People can say what they want to say. Deshawn looked good. Now, Deshawn wasn't my favorite on her season because I feel like she was trying too hard to impress everybody. And when she started getting backlash about how flashy and braggadocious she was being, I felt like she felt she's had to pull it back. What's funny is, if you go back and look at Deshawn from season 1 and the way they tried to come at her for season 1, it is what all of them aspire to do now. Deshawn was moving in that big ass house. Remember, she had a glam room. Remember that house they were moving into? And she had her own glam room. Wasn't nobody thinking about no damn glam room back then. She had a glam room. Remember she had a room for the nanny. Yeah, she had a staff. Like, Deshawn was giving housewife goals. She was giving us Real Housewives of Beverly Hills goals. And people gave her a hard time. I remember that. People gave her a hard time. And she was like, hold up. Like, don't come for me. Don't come for me. Because I remember when me and old boy was eating oodles and noodles in our dorm room because we ain't had no money. You know what I'm saying? She was like, don't do that. Don't come for me, because I've been there and I've done that. And we started from the bottom and we here and we're going to be here and it's going to be up and it's stuck. Okay? It's going to be up and it's stuck. You know? Right. She had a house manager. And that's what I'm saying. If you go back and look at season 1, it's the stuff that people were coming at her about is the shit that we do now, that they do now, and we don't even blink an eye at. Everybody got glam now. Back then, when she had a room set aside for glam, everybody was like, what? Everybody got glam now. These women don't get out of bed without glam. They don't film a scene without, they'll be in their pajamas and be in full glam. You know what show where they don't do that? Them Real Housewives of New Jersey, they don't give a damn. Child. They'll film a scene with no makeup. They'll film a scene with no hair on. They will roll out of bed and you gonna get what you get. You gonna get Marge will film a scene with nothing. With no makeup on and her hair up in a towel, honey. Marge don't play. She don't care. Marge don't care. Okay. Them Housewives of New Jersey women, they don't give a damn about glam. Okay. They don't give a damn about glam. But anyway. But yeah, now everybody's doing glam. And I'm just like, boy, I tell you, back in the day. Anyway, moving on. So, yeah, that scene fell flat. I mean, Kim is still talking about she mad at Candy. Girl, what you mad at Candy for? Child, Candy made you money that you ordinarily wouldn't have made. I mean, she gave you a good old audio tune, threw you in the booth, and you was performing at all the gay pride shows for 2 years. Girl, go sit down somewhere. Go sit down and sit down somewhere. Deshaun was born, but her lifestyle is what I wanted to see. Exactly. Deshaun, you know what Deshaun was giving Sharice? She was. I agree. Deshaun was giving Sharice. I agree. So now it's the day of the auction, and we see Candy just got in from a show, child. She tired. She said she just got in from a show. She got to do speak on it. Then she got to turn around and do the auction. And then she said she had a show later on that night. And then they want to complain when Candy don't show up. Jonathan, don't you say nothing. Then they want to complain when Candy don't show up. Listen, don't be mad at Candy because she got 10 jobs. Just don't. Just don't. Deshaun has a children's book. I'm here for it. Remember Deshaun had a charity for young girls. I can't remember the details, but remember, I think it was like it was almost like a Toastmasters kind of thing she was doing with young girls. And I was here for that too. I was like, why y'all mad at her because she's trying to give some class to the girls? She's trying to teach these girls which fork to pick up when they get invited to a scholarship dinner and they don't embarrass themselves. Like, why y'all mad? Because Deshaun's trying to give these girls a little class. Anyway. We see Kenya trying to squeeze into her dress, child. She said the dress fit everywhere except for the hips, honey. So she got to get the hips taken out. Sonya is getting her hair and makeup done. Her sister got an attitude. And this... I don't know where to start because I got a lot of thoughts in my head. So let me just try to. It may not be in order, y'all, but I'm just trying to go through. First of all, Sonya, I feel like it's two things happening here. Either you don't pay well, or you are impossible to work for. Because why you can't keep an assistant? I mean, your brother-in-law quit. Your brother-in-law quit 3 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago. Hell, your brother-in-law had quit before they went down to the Circle City, and they said the Circle City was 5 weeks before this. So explain to me why you ain't found an assistant yet. Because how you didn't remember to tell your sister that she needed to be at the place at a certain time to get your damn hair done. How you didn't know. And why you don't have an assistant yet. So either you're not paying well or you're impossible to work for, or true, it could be both. Because it don't make no sense that you don't have nobody helping you handle. Did you see how Candy walked in the door and her assistant was sitting there with that notepad and said at 9 o'clock you got to speak on it. At 10:15 you got to be down to the auction. Did you not see that long list? Did you see how that woman was sitting in Candy kitchen waiting for her when she got her ass back from Nashville? She said, we got to go through this checklist. You know? Hey, Chris, how you doing? So then I can appreciate that Sonya was apologizing. But you know how when people apologize because they just want you to not be mad anymore? I feel like that's what that apology was. And I feel like her sister felt like that's what that apology was too. And that's why her sister was like, just give me a minute. Like, I heard you, fine. You apologized, fine. But I need a minute. Because see, that's how I am. You piss me off. I appreciate the apology. That don't mean it. Like, your apology doesn't automatically make me not mad anymore or make me upset anymore. You know what I'm saying? Don't apologize because you just want to move past it. Because please understand, you need to give me a minute. And see, especially with me, once my attitude get activated, baby, just leave me alone. It take a minute. It take a minute for it to get activated. But baby, once my attitude, and the older I get, the better I am. Now, when I was younger, it didn't take that long for it to get activated. But I'm older. I'm a little bit better. It don't take as long. I mean, it takes a little bit longer for it to get activated. But once it's activated, just leave me the hell alone. It's best for you to just leave me alone. And I feel like that's what Sonya needed to do. Let me tell you something else Sonya did that would have pissed me off if I was her sister. Her hair might not have finished getting done. Don't sit there and have a conversation about me while I'm standing right fucking here. Don't do that. That would piss me off. With Sonya talking to her friend, well, I think she's mad at me because, you know, I forgot to tell her. She's a little mad at me right now. I mean, I know I'm sorry. I'm wrong. Like, don't do that. While I'm standing right here, don't do that. Don't do that. And then when the sister was like, I heard your apology. But yes, I am upset because you forgot to tell me I needed to be here. I still got to take care of my kids. I still have to take care of your kid. And it's almost as if you don't understand all of the moving parts that go into, you know, you telling us it was going to be a rough week and us going through the rough week. That's two different things. I get it. You got a lot going on. It's going to be a rough week. That don't mean that I ain't going to be, that doesn't mean that I don't get to have a reaction to it. See, I don't like that. I don't like that. And when Sonya started crying, which threw the sister off because now I'm mad and have to consider your feelings. But baby, the sister handled that shit the same way I would have handled it. She ain't break stride. She did not. She didn't break stride. Do you hear me? Sonya's sister was like, She was like, let me get that curl in there. She was like, I got 4 more pieces. Let me slick down that baby hair. All right, I'm out. Listen, she did the same thing I would have done. Them tears don't move me. Because, see, now you're crying because I won't allow you off the hook. That's what those tears were for. Those tears weren't that you really were upset and you really felt bad. Those tears were, I won't let you off the hook. I won't tell you it's okay. I won't tell you I'm not mad anymore. I won't tell you this isn't difficult for me and this isn't something I still have to work. She said, and then this what really hit her with, and I'm probably not, and I ain't coming back. I'm sorry. She was like, and I'm not coming back. And I ain't coming back. Listen, her sister was so me in that moment. I was her and she was me. Listen, let me tell you, I already told y'all I'm bad with tears when I want to be empathetic. I told y'all that. I'm bad with tears when I do feel some kind of way and I do want to help and I do feel bad. I'm bad with tears when I want to have empathy. Baby, when I know I don't give a damn, them tears don't do nothing for me. And I'm her sister. So I say how my makeup look. Her sister said, get them corners a little bit more. She said, get them corners a little bit more. She ain't hug her. She ain't embrace her. She ain't say, sister, it's okay. She finished curling them little pieces of hair. She slicked them baby hair down and she hit her with the deuces. I said, I know that's right. I know that's right. Baby, that is me. Tears can be manipulated. Absolutely, they can be. Oh, God. Okay. So then the ladies start showing up, and somebody earlier said that Sheree looked good in that teal suit. Sheree did look good in that teal suit with them Balenciaga shoes and the bag to match. It was cute. Listen, I can say a lot of things about Sheree, but I ain't gonna sit here and say that Sheree can't dress. Sheree can dress. And Sheree's body is banging. Her body is banging. Okay? Sheree looked good. And I did like that teal. And I love the offset of that yellow purse with the yellow shoes with the Balenciaga. It was so cute. It really was cute. So anyway, now Kenya is late. Now let me say this. I already told y'all how I feel when and I have been late more than I used to be late. Again, for some of y'all know, some of y'all don't know that I have an autoimmune situation. So some days I'm jumping out the bed and I'm good. Other days it takes me a minute to get myself together. So sometimes I misjudge my time and I'm not as on time as I used to be. But it's never because I just didn't give a fuck or I was just bullshitting it away. You know what I'm saying? And I try to be so respectful of other people's time. And Kenya just don't be caring. These ladies just don't be caring about being on time. They just don't, because Candy do it too. It looks like Candy's getting better about her punctuality, but remember they used to say Candy was really bad. Y'all, this camera. They used to say Candy was notorious about being late for stuff. But it seems like she's a lot better than she used to be. But anyway, so Kenya is late, child. And rightfully so, Sonya's getting irritated. Now she calls Kenya. Kenya is still getting her hair done, child. But come to find out, they separated they separated Kenya from her plus one. Now, where they do that at? Where they do that at? What was the reason for you possibly separating her from her plus one? Well, no. I changed my mind. Because I was getting ready to say, well, maybe because the person, her plus one, wasn't filming. But her plus one is the girl. The other girl that she filmed with when they went to the tennis court with Brooklyn. Didn't you see her walk in? That was her plus one. So it's not like your plus one wasn't somebody that's filming. Yeah, I get that, Phil, but that's why I said, I was like, but she's filming. She's much of the show as Courtney is. She's a friend of. But neither here nor there. They worked it out. So they started the program. Let me say this. It was a guy with Kenya. Oh, I thought Kenya walked in there with the girl. I thought she walked in there with old girl. Anyway, neither here nor there, but that's probably what it was. It was the cast table situation. Anyway, which means that Kenya knew it, which means that Kenya was complaining just to be having a moment. Moving on. Because, child, you've been doing this show for 20 years. You know what it is. But, hold on. No, Kenya walked in with two people. She walked in with a tall guy. I just looked at it. And she walked in with the woman, the girl. So anyway, neither here nor there. They start giving out these awards. Now see, Sonya, if you really appreciated what your sister does for you and you really understood the layers of if you really understood the layers of what your sister does for you, your sister should have got that award that you slurped up on Sheree. Because she gave out these awards, and then the last award she was given, she gave that last award to Sheree, and she even had Cairo come in and get that award. Now, hold on a second, y'all. I'm sorry. Hold on. I'll be right back. You should have had your sister. You should have told your mama, your daddy, whoever else is up at that house, get her dressed and get her ass down here. You should have told the family, let it be a surprise. And you should have surprised your sister with an award and keys to a car out in the parking lot. Okay? That's what you should have done for your sister. You should have already had your sister. Sonya's sister. Y'all keep bringing up that reality show from 10 years ago. Backstory: Sonya's sister was awful on her reality show and her unemployed husband. Well, she probably still awful. But all I'm saying is, right here, right now, Sonya asked some people to move to Atlanta. At least that's her storyline. See, I can only go by the storyline. The storyline was they was up in New Jersey minding their business, and you asked them to pack their shit up and move to Atlanta to help you. That's what you asked them. That's your storyline. Your storyline isn't my sister and her husband, I take care of them and they need my help. Your storyline was you asked them to bring their happy ass down here. But anyway, but I have a question. Now, I know that my OG Real Housewives of Atlanta people are going to get me together if I'm wrong. But I distinctly remember, and I know Scotty will get me together. I know Scotty because I remember Scotty talking about this. And he probably talking about it right now, ranting and raving about it right now. Didn't Sheree lie about her daughter being her sister? Didn't Sheree not even acknowledge her oldest daughter when she first came on this show? Am I tripping or do I remember that? I mean, my OG people in the chat tell me. My OG people in the chat tell me. Okay, J Dub said he don't remember it. Tanisha said speak on it. Nikki says Cherie did not claim her oldest because she had her at like 13. Okay, what did Cherie do to get an award? Date felons. Oh, I don't remember that. I feel like I can recall that. Sounds in character. Yes. Okay. Yes, she was young when she had her first daughter. That's fine. She was a teenage mom, and her mother basically raised her. Matter of fact, Sheree's daughter lived in Ohio with her mother when Sheree was down here with Bob. Sheree didn't even have her daughter living with her at one point in time while she was down here with Bob. Okay, I'm not tripping. All right, it's people in the chat that remember it. Okay, cool. I'm not tripping. Right, Xavier said, I always thought Sheree had 2 children. No, Sheree has 3 children. She's got 2 kids with Bob, and then she's got an older daughter. Mm-hmm. Really be, you're right. She said Tiara was her friend, not her daughter. Mm-hmm. Okay, then I'm not tripping. All right, y'all remember that. So you giving the woman who didn't even claim her first daughter an award, a mommy award? The fuck? And I mean, Sonya, you might not know that, but I'm just thinking, all them mommies in the room, and Sheree's the one you picked. We got Kenya, we got Candy, we have Monyetta. Hell, all of them is mamas, except for, matter of fact, I wouldn't have even been mad if she gave that award to Marlo. And I know some of y'all about to cuss me out when I say this, but let me tell you something. If she had stood up there and said, mothers come in all ways and shapes, sizes, and mothers are not always come to us in the traditional way, and it takes a strong woman to step in and be a mom when they weren't expecting to be a mom, when they weren't trying to be a mom, and to step in and to take over that role. I would have even been all right if she had gave it to Marlo. Especially since you're talking about your charity is partnering with women who were homeless, and we know what Marlo child, she won't let us forget her story. I wouldn't have even been mad about that. Y'all know I don't even really be rocking with Marlo, but I wouldn't even been mad about that. If you're saying, listen, mothers come to us in different ways, and it doesn't, you don't always have to give birth to be a mom. You know what I'm saying? She probably don't know, but I still just wonder why out of all of them women there, that's who you chose. Like, I'd rather you just not chose anybody. But anyway, child, never mind. You know what Marlo did send them, boy. Y'all always be reminding me. I be trying. You right, Marlo did send them boys. Marlo did send them boys away. Never mind. Marlo did send them boys away. Never mind, change it. I'll tell you about it. Marlo did send the boys away, child. Okay, never mind. Y'all be getting me together. I love it. I love it. Okay. Now, last but not least, we see Kenya an hour and 30 minutes late. But let me tell you something. Sonya, let me get this to you too. Sonya. If you're scared to ask for money, then you don't need to be running no fundraiser. If you're scared to ask for money, then you don't need to do an auction. Then you need to do a different type of way to raise your money. If you scared, listen, scared money don't make none. Scared money don't make none. You wanted to raise $50,000. That's cool. That is a can appreciate that's a very modest a goal, right? It's your first fundraiser, $50,000. That's a lot of money, and if you would hit that goal, you would have been happy. But the goal of fundraising is to always exceed what the goal you set. So Kenya stood up and Kenya started working the room, and Sonya talking about some. Oh my gosh, Kenya! I mean, we want to raise $50,000. I mean, that's great, Kenya. That's good. Girl, if you don't sit down and let Kenya do her magic, Kenya said, listen, we're trying to raise $50,000. But I know we can do that. We're going to double that. We're going to do $100,000 because it's $50,000 at that table right there. And listen, let me tell you something. She wasn't wrong. Kenya said, look, $50,000 divided by 7, what we got to do? Drew said, well, if each one of us got to do $7,000, Candy said, well, I got my $7,000. You got your $7,000. Now, you know Drew ain't have her $7,000. You know Drew ain't have it. You know she about Sheree didn't have that $7,000. They hadn't gotten paid yet. They hadn't got their Bravo check yet. You know they didn't have that money. But I love the way Kenya did that. Because everybody at that table gave, well, except for Courtney. You see how they showed that Courtney only gave $2,500? But that's okay, girl. You only a friend of the show. You ain't got to get a full amount, child. You ain't got to get a full amount. Just get a half. You ain't got to. Child, you said, I ain't no full-time peach. You going to get this half-time. You going to get this $2,500. Shit. When I'm getting a full-time paycheck, you get the $5,000. Okay? But that's what you're supposed to do. When you raising money, I remember... there used to be an organization called Best Friends. Y'all probably don't know nothing about it. But it was an organization back in the day when I first started teaching. And it was a mentorship program to oversimplify. And it was run by the person who had started it was she was the wife of a senator. As a matter of fact, Fred Thompson. And if you watch Law and Order, you know who Fred Thompson is. He played the DA for a couple of seasons, and he actually ended up running for president. Of course, he didn't win, but she was his husband. I mean, she was his husband. She was his wife. And I remember that black tie event we would go to every year, baby. And it used to be senators and congressmen and CEOs and all of that. Baby, I remember one night she convinced they were having a silent auction, and of course the marquee item of the silent auction was like a Cadillac Escalade. Like, I don't even know who the hell she got to donate a Cadillac Escalade. Okay, it was like a local dealership, but they donated it. And baby, that woman worked that room until somebody bid on that damn Escalade. She was like, well, yeah. She was like, what we're not gonna do is not sell this damn Escalade that I done talk somebody into giving us. Sure did. So scared money don't make none. Now the question is, how many stories are we gonna hear about them people not paying that money? We know Candy dropped the check before she left, child. We know Candy dropped the money before she left. How many people did or did not leave their money? I'm just saying. How many people are not going to pay that money? That's all I'm saying. How much was the winning bid? Oh, Lord. That was years ago. I think back then, it might have been like $20,000, $25,000, but don't quote me on that because I really don't remember. And that was years ago. Like, that was when I first started teaching. That was 20 years ago. It was years ago. So, yeah. But, yeah, she worked that room. She worked that room, honey. So, anyway, then we got the super trailer for the second half of the season. it puts some things in perspective. I mean, we don't know how much is just for the show and how much is real, but it definitely puts some things in perspective because when Drew when it was first announced that Drew and Rock were being divorced, all of a sudden here come Mimi Faust talking about Drew cheated with Ty. Now Ty's her on again, off again girlfriend. Okay, we know that they got their on again, off again situation. But it puts some things in perspective because Drew was in Todd's movie as her love interest. Remember, that's the scene that Candy was like, "I'm not playing another lesbian because they already got me down to the shy. I ain't gonna play no more lesbians." And she was in that scene. And it looked like they took it off camera. So anyway, we'll see. We'll see, child. I was watching Speak on It, and Candy confirms that everyone cleared the check. Okay, good job. Thank you, Spiderweb. I'll probably watch Candy when I get off here because y'all know I told you I got to be up in the morning. So I'm not going to be up late. I have not been sleeping well these last 2 nights. I do not know what's going on with my sleep. But, baby, my sleep has been... And I got to be walking out the door tomorrow at 7 o'clock because I need to be... They want us to check in between 8:30 and 8:45. So, yeah, I got to get out. I need to be walking out the door at 7 because I still got to stop somewhere and get me some breakfast. So, I need to be walking out the door by 7 o'clock tomorrow. So, I will probably listen to Candy speak on it as I'm getting ready for bed tonight. And we'll talk about it. If it's something I feel like I need to come down here and talk to y'all about. School is out. Why you getting up? Because I'm in a workshop for the next 3 days, Taurus. You weren't here at the beginning when I said it. I'm in a workshop for the next 3 days at the National Museum of African American History. It's a workshop on Reconstruction and the Freedmen's Bureau. Listen, I'm a history nerd. School is out, but I'm still a history nerd. And the more I learn, the better I am at teaching y'all's kids. That's all I can say. The more I know. Oh shit! Speaking of which, I forgot to do something today. I'm doing. That's another thing I'm gonna do when I get off here. But the more I know, the better I am at teaching y'all's kids. So there's that. Anyway, y'all, let me get out of here. Thank y'all for being with me. I think we got up to 200 people at one point. Please hit the like button if you have not already. If you are hitting this, if you are new here, please hit the subscribe button. Child, we have a good time. Don't forget tomorrow night, the Whether You Like It or Not panel will be back. We will be discussing this episode of Roa, and I believe we are on I know we are on Josiah's channel tomorrow. We are at Josiah's house tomorrow. So I will post the link. Y'all know I'll post the link. You can catch it on my Instagram or you can catch it on my community wall tomorrow. And I will see y'all there. Okay. Talk to y'all later. Mwah. Peace.